So apparently Goodreads just had a redesign. I know this because as a book girly and a graphic designer, literally everybody and their grandmother messaged me about it. So let's take a look. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Marissa and I like to talk about books and book design. Okay. Immediately, it is feeling a lot fresher. The main difference I'm noticing is, of course, the logo. It looks a lot softer, sort of has a friendlier and more approachable vibe. It's very apparent to me that they're finally trying to keep up with some of the competition that's been coming out recently. It feels like they were very heavily inspired by Fable. This yellow looks new to me as well. It's maybe a little bit bolder than what they were using before. Other than that, I'm not immediately seeing any big difference. I'm actually gonna pull up the Wayback Machine. That way we can see what it was looking like even just a year ago. Okay, yeah, so it's really not that different. We can flip back and forth here. Definitely the logo. They were using this sort of sans serif before, which it was just feeling dated. This definitely feels more modern. I'll give them that. And as I mentioned, that bold yellow looks to be new. Before they were using this sort of like pale sandy color, which the big impression of the page is that it's just washed out and dated. Now, to be honest, I didn't recognize this typeface that's in the headline there. I thought that was new, but apparently they've been using it for at least a year. And I do like that typeface, but apparently it's not part of the redesign. Yep, and this is like exactly the same as before. The illustration style looks a little bit different too. And again, I think they're just taking cues from the other platforms that are out there right now. This looks pretty similar to some other stuff I've seen. Personally, I'm not a fan. If you didn't know, this illustration style is called Corporate Memphis, basically characterized by the flat geometric shapes. Often there's bright colors. The thing that almost immediately gives it away is like the amorphous, elongated humans that are in this style. It's just very simplified, again, to be approachable and friendly. And usually the like blob-like figures are meant to be a little bit ambiguous to be more inclusive for people. So there's something to be said about that. To me, it feels lazy. It's just really lacking personality and direction. It's not doing anything new. And maybe that's why I don't like it. It's just like so overused. It also has an association with being corporate. It's literally in the name. That's usually the setting this is used in. And so for me, it just has like an icky feeling around it. Hey, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, again, I'm not really seeing much different. Like, I know my currently reading was always there. Still got like 8 million ads popping up at me, which is just classic Amazon. It's giving subtle. It's giving bare minimum. It's giving, they didn't try that hard. Which, to be fair, this could just be a phase 1 launch. Maybe they're planning on coming out with more stuff in the future. Now, this may have been there before, but I'm seeing a push towards more of the Goodreads generated lists. It seems like they're really trying to get you to go on these pages that are recommending you books. Here it says readers' 88 favorite romantasy books for the past 3 years, which could be true. I'm assuming they're getting this information from the data they collect on their site of like which books are being logged, but there's no sources here. We don't know that for a fact. It's very obvious to me that this feature is entirely here to push users to Amazon to buy books. And that makes sense. That is literally the whole point of this website. It is created by Amazon, which of course they started out as a bookseller, so they want to sell you books. And in theory, you know, this is pretty harmless. It's maybe even like on the surface giving users what they want. They come to Goodreads to find their next favorite book, but I just want you to take a step back and be a little bit mindful of this. You know, just think about what they're pushing on you, which books they want you to buy. Because at the end of the day, this is a list that was curated by a corporation. A corporation, mind you, that is like single-handedly killing our planet. When they're the ones that are making these lists, they kind of gain control of the types of books that people are reading. Now, is this the only place where people get book recommendations? No, obviously not. We are currently on BookTube. Like, that's a whole different story. But there's no denying that people do come to Goodreads and read these lists to find their next book. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing to get a recommendation from here, but you know, at best, it's just Amazon's corporate greed wanting you to buy books from them and pushing you away from local booksellers at best. But at worst, they could be like, I don't know, pushing a certain political agenda with the types of books that they recommend. And again, I'm not trying to be too much of like a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, that does happen. So all I'm trying to say is just, I'm encouraging you to think for yourself. You know, just because everyone's reading that new hot release doesn't necessarily mean that you have to read it too. But if you want to and it genuinely interests you, then of course pick it up. I am definitely no stranger to reading popular books. Like, I'm not saying that's the problem at all. It's just becoming a little bit too easy to not think for ourselves. And I know it seems trivial, like which book should I pick up next, but books are knowledge, books are power, and I just think I don't want Amazon in control of what I read. That's all I'm saying, okay? If you're able, maybe just take those features with stride. If you can, get book recommendations from people in your community, ask your friends, ask your local librarians. If there are booktubers you like, that's one way. Not saying they, and by they I mean we, I guess, are completely out of that like realm of pushing a certain type of book. Of course, again, we are on BookTube and you are watching my videos, so I hope you like my recommendations, but I hope you don't just agree with everything that I say and you do research for yourself. That's all I'm saying. I kind of got down a little bit of a rabbit hole there. In case it wasn't clear, I'm not an Amazon fan, and I feel a little bit hypocritical making this video talking and in some ways promoting their platform, but I also want to bring awareness. And I actually read an article about the redesign they did, and one of the new features is that if you have your Goodreads account connected to your Amazon, which most people do if they use the same email since they're both owned by Amazon, there's actually a new feature where your TBR list that you create on Goodreads automatically creates like a shopping list on Amazon. That's crazy. I know we pretty much all have book buying problems, but they're just making it one step easier for you to click buy. Guys, please don't buy books from Amazon. Don't do it. I know it's cheap and it's easy, but there are other platforms you can get books. If you want them cheap, try checking out Pango or Thrift Books or Book Outlet. And if you want them fast, literally just open your door, go outside, and visit your local indie bookstore. I guarantee you can pick it up off the shelf faster than Amazon can deliver it to your door. Or hell, go to the library. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now that my tangent is over, let's get back to the design. I mean, yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's just giving bare minimum. They really did not do that much at all. I don't even know if this is new. I think this is just new this year, not even with this new logo. Yeah, they have introduced this new achievement section here where it's this little bookmark you get when you read a book. It's illustrated for the month. I think there are a few more challenge specific ones. Yeah, I have this one called Chart Toppers. I don't even know really what this means. You collected this achievement by completing one of these hit new books from the first half of the year. Oh, and what do you know? It pushes you back to another list created by Goodreads. Right. Okay, so yeah, I think it's kind of, it has this mask of looking like it's encouraging you to read more because when you get these little achievements, it's sort of gamified and makes you want to read more. But if you just read between the lines, they just want your money. They want you to buy books from them. They don't really care about your user experience. I mean, that's pretty evident. They didn't update any of the UX that people have been complaining about for years. Doesn't look like they introduced a dark mode at all. They're still having plenty of accessibility issues, especially when you compare it to these newer platforms like Fable and StoryGraph that have been coming out. It's still lacking the community-driven aspect, and there's just no emotionally engaging UI. I think it just feels gross. It feels greedy. It feels like all they want is me to buy. And I'm just sick of this overconsumption. Like, I'm done. Some of these new platforms are successfully getting people to leave Goodreads, like StoryGraph, because they introduce those very interesting stats and graphs that you get about the books you read. It's just like this added bonus with no pressure to buy books from them. It's truly for you as a reader. And I think for that reason, Goodreads could fully revamp and make it more functional, but at the end of the day, their greed is always gonna get in the way of making it a truly engaging and functional site. And let's just zoom out for a bit and talk about what a redesign is. Unlike fully launching a new brand, it's taking these existing assets and making it better, more functional for the existing users and new users alike. It should be signaling growth and change and a desire to remain relevant, I guess you could say. It's not just about making things look prettier. For years, users have begged Goodreads to make any of our updates to just make it more functional for us. But they've had a complete monopoly over this space for, what, at least 10 years, if not longer. And they were completely unwilling to listen to users and make change until these other platforms started to pose a threat. And yeah, sure, a simple rebrand that's just, you know, a slight tweak to the logo can reinvigorate users to come back to the platform and check things out. It makes them curious to see what else has evolved, but when the functionality doesn't change and improve as well, people will quickly lose interest. Now, when I first planned on making a video about this, I thought it'd be cool to give my recommendations as a designer and talk about how they can actually improve their platform. But I hesitate to do that because I don't want to help Amazon out at all. And yeah, they're probably not going to see this silly little video I make, but just on the off chance, I'm not going to give them my ideas that they can just take and not give credit. So good luck without me. What I'll say instead is just generally, they need a whole new design system. What they have right now is not working for them anymore. And arguably, it was never working in the first place. They need better functionality, more consideration for accessibility, and a place for community. The feed just doesn't really work that well. I think one of the funniest things about Goodreads is that, oh, you can like someone's update on their progress in a book. And then you can like someone's update that they liked an update. And then you can like someone's update that they liked an update about someone liking an update. Who designed this? It's so silly. And now, to be completely transparent with you, about a year ago, I tried to make the switch to StoryGraph. I actually made a video about it. I did not switch to StoryGraph. I couldn't do it. And I'm really sorry to say that because I wish I could support them. Literally anyone other than Amazon has got to be better, but they're also a small business owned by a woman of color. And on top of that, their stat features actually are super cool, and I really wanted to see that data. As someone who designs websites, and not really apps, but like mobile versions of websites, which I think at the time when I switched, they maybe had just launched an app, it was super unusable. I actually found the functionality of it more difficult than Goodreads, and to this day I still do not know how to add someone on StoryGraph, which just seems like it shouldn't be that hard. I really don't want to shit on it, especially in comparison to Goodreads. Choose StoryGraph if you were strong enough. It's just hard. As someone who has been on Goodreads, let's see, over 10 years at this point, I think, yeah, I made my account in October of 2013. So every single book I've read since I was 13 years old, I've logged on Goodreads. We just have a lot of history, and it's complicated, and it's hard to break up with someone you've been with that long, okay? But I'm trying. And I just don't think at this point, or at least the point a year ago, StoryGraph had enough to get me off Goodreads. But I really do think they can get there in the future. They just need a little bit more investment on the UX design of their platform. The idea is there, the passion is there, but it's so much better than the like mission of Goodreads. But if you were strong enough to make the switch, seriously, I'm so serious. Good for you. You're stronger than me, I'll tell you that right now, and I strive to be like you. So I'm actually planning on trying out Fable next. I'm pulling up their website. It's gorgeous. Like, in comparison to Goodreads, there's just no question. And it's actually so obvious that the new Goodreads redesign is trying to like play off of what Fable has going on, but it doesn't have the heart and soul that Fable does. It's so much brighter and more inviting. Goodreads also kind of copied the illustration style. Yes, this is sort of corporate Memphis as well, but it has a lot more personality to it. I mean, it's just cuter. Like, look. And even the slightest motion graphics we have here elevates it so much more above whatever Goodreads has going on. I'm really excited because it seems like the people behind Fable are really passionate about what they do and truly connecting with readers and their community. They sort of had a mishap actually earlier this year where they had an issue with using AI and it was coming out with some problematic things. And the way they handled that situation actually made me so much more inclined to try out their platform because they were so willing to take accountability and try to be better. They didn't just brush it under the rug. They truly showed up and apologized for their mistake. They have fully corrected, and I think that's such a sign of, you know, true, genuine passion for what you do is to be willing to learn from your mistakes and continue to grow. If you're interested in hearing my thoughts on Fable, let me know and I will make a video about switching to it. And unlike my StoryGraph video, I'll actually give it some time where I'm using the app and seeing if the functionality works for me. And maybe this will be the one that will get me off Goodreads for good. So there we have it. Sorry that this design review turned more into a rant against Amazon, but it had to be done. Let me know in the comments below what you think about their redesign. Was it enough to keep you on the platform, or have you fully made the transition to one of the newer ones? If so, please let me know which one and leave your username so that when I finally make the switch, I can actually add you and have my community waiting for me on there. So with that, I am signing off, but I hope to see you in the next one and maybe even on Fable very soon.